Hey guys, welcome back. In this lesson, I want to talk about an emerging threat and something that most home users and honestly a lot of corporate people are very concerned about. And it's a scam called ransomware. So this is a way that, again, when we step back into the attacker's shoes, we want to think about their motivations, and the motivation being money. So with ransomware, what they do is they code up a virus, and how they get that virus to you is they do that in multiple different ways. But once the virus is installed, it encrypts every file on your hard drive. Usually things like in your My Documents, all your pictures, all your, if you're in college, all your papers and everything. So it encrypts all of that with a very secure encryption algorithm and a very long decryption key or decryption password. And then it sends that decryption password back to the attacker, right? And puts a nice big pop-up on your screen. And I have to chuckle. It's not really funny because a lot of the people who are victims of this are really have a problem. But they say on their pop-up, for your security, we've encrypted all of your data, right? And so once the data is encrypted, you can't access it, and there is no way to decrypt it without having that password. And the password is so long that guessing the password is not really an option. It would take thousands of years on a normal computer to guess the password for this decryption. So they're basically holding your files ransom. And they ask you to pay them money in order to get your files back. At the time of this filming, the ransom right now is going anywhere between $300 US and $500 US. There are a few outfits out there that are charging more, and again, there are a few that are charging less, but your average is $300 to $500. That's a lot. That's a fair amount of money, and the thing about it is that the attackers don't care so much how many people they infect or whether or not those people pay them or not. Their costs is the cost of the malware, the cost of the infrastructure to run it. If they get, they send out 1,000 emails and they get 100 people to click the link, then they've infected 100 people at $500. You can do the math. The return on investment for them is high. So they're running it like a business, if you will. And ransomware has caused millions, if not even trillions worth of damage across the world. And so, we think about, okay, well, why does this all happen? Well, again, stepping back into the attacker's mindset, there is a very low risk for the attacker. They're usually housed, or it's usually some group in a country where extradition is not going to happen, and law enforcement may turn a blind eye. These are we see a lot of ransomware come out of Russia. We see a lot of ransomware come out of third world countries in Africa and whatnot. Just because the likelihood of them getting caught is very low. And they're not going to be shipped out to a larger country where they can then be prosecuted for it. So they have little to no risk in doing this, and people will pay. And the reason people pay is because they actually do unlock your files if you pay. It's not one of those scams where it's pay me money and I'll pretend to do something, or I'll promise to unlock your files and then you never hear from me again. The majority of the ransomware viruses, the adversary or the attackers actually do unlock your files. So how do you protect against this? It's very, very difficult, because from a cybersecurity expert perspective, I want to tell you, don't pay the ransom, right? Because if no one pays the ransom, then these people aren't going to continue to do this attack. But because people do pay the ransom, That's why these attacks continue to happen. So one of the most effective ways of protecting yourself against these ransomware attacks is to do a backup. And we'll talk about multiple ways of doing backups in another video, but the idea here is that even if all of your files are encrypted, that's fine. You've got a backup. So you can delete all the encrypted files and restore from an older backup where all the files weren't encrypted. And so it's important to maintain a good backup system, and you want to make sure that if you're backing up to, say, just a hard drive, that a USB hard drive, that you don't keep that USB hard drive hooked up to your computer at all times. The problem is that the adversaries do know about how people back up, and if it is being backed up to a USB hard drive, they actually will see that the USB hard drive is attached to your computer, and they will encrypt all the files on the USB hard drive, which then makes your backup kind of useless. So the mitigation here, right? Back up your files. If you get hit with a ransomware, don't worry about it. Clean up the infection with your antivirus solution or your anti-malware solution. Delete all your encrypted files, and then restore from a backup to a clean state. So takeaways on this lesson is ransomware encrypts your files and holds them for ransom. If you are willing to pay the money, you probably will get your files back. And if not, backups are the solution to ransomware. Just make sure that those backups are either off-site in a cloud environment like Dropbox or whatnot, or that if it's a local hard drive, that local hard drive is not always connected to your computer. That way the ransomware can't encrypt your backups as well. So with that, I hope to see you in the next lesson. Thanks.